What's up, Dreamfasters? It is Danny Gallows, of course. Who'd you think it was? And welcome back to another movie review. Batman. So guys, this weekend I just got back from seeing The Batman, and let me say, to start things off, this was probably my most anticipated movie of 2022. When I saw the trailers for this film, I got so excited because it reminded me of Joker, which is another one of my all-time favorite films. And what I loved was the direction they seemed to be going in. You know, this kind of like dark psychological thriller. And I was like, oh, here we go again. They're doing basically the Joker again, but this time with Batman. And I absolutely loved that kind of, the tone that they were going for in this film. And I'm very happy to say my reaction after experiencing this movie, wow. And one of the reasons that I adore Joker so much is because it's not a conventional superhero movie. You know, it was a dark origin story that deals with mental health more than it deals with superpowers. It basically doesn't deal with superpowers at all, and this is exactly what this film is. And, you know, there's a reason why Joker is on my shelf right now. It takes a lot, especially for modern movies, to make it on my shelf, but you better believe that's on my shelf, because I really loved that dramatic left turn that they took. It's kind of daring to move away from all of the conventional superhero stuff and instead focus on what really makes people's brains work, why people feel a certain way, why they think a certain way, why they act a certain way, and how that was executed in this film was so perfect. And that is one of the greatest aspects, actually it is the greatest aspect about this film, is that the trailer perfectly displays exactly what the movie is and what it's all about. It's one of those rare circumstances where you can watch the trailer and know exactly how the movie feels, the tone of the movie. It is dark, it is ominous, it is fierce, it is powerful, and the best part is that it's not focused around these big action sequences and these big epic battle sequences and stuff like that. This movie is very grounded, it's very organic, it's very natural, and a lot of it almost comes off like a purely independent film. There are so many sequences throughout this entire movie where it feels like a totally indie director in a totally indie film, and that is fantastic. Now, that's not to say that the action isn't great. Believe me, it is fantastic. But the thing is, we just see it from a different perspective. Because you guys have to remember that, you know, at its heart, this is a detective story, right? It's a true, natural detective story. No one has superpowers. This is your local law enforcement. These are your local villains, your local heroes. These are guys that you would know in real life that are just, you know, as the Joker says, one bad day away from being themselves. And that's what makes it so great. Again, it's a very organic, natural process. This entire movie feels very real. All of the actors and actresses, they disappear into their roles. They really make you believe that they're these characters. And man, there's just something so visceral about that this film captures so well, and I mean, it's awesome. And Robert Pattinson as the Batman, wow, man, I mean, what a performance he gives. And you know, initially, I was actually on the fence about his casting in this movie, because I just didn't know how to feel about it. You know, it was kind of like, when we first heard it, everybody was like, you know, that's a kind of odd pick for, you know, Batman, but man, were we wrong. You know, and it wasn't, you know, it didn't have anything to do with his past. You know, a lot of people would be like, oh, Robert Pattinson, oh, Twilight, you know, whatever, man. Watch The Lighthouse, you know what I mean? He is a fantastic actor. And in this film, again, just like Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker movie, he gives us a very down-to-earth performance. And it's not dramatized. See, in a lot of superhero movies, they know they're playing villains and they know they're playing superheroes, so it's very dramatized. You know, they're putting on this show for people. In this movie, especially with Robert Pattinson's performance, there's no show being put on. It's like, it was almost like he became this character in real life and we were just watching him go. But you know, I would have to say, my absolute favorite aspect of this film, when it comes to the acting performances anyway, would have to be Paul Dano and Colin Farrell as the Riddler and the Penguin. I mean, like, I have trouble composing words, for these performances. I mean, Paul Dano as the Riddler is just deliciously evil. He is so psychologically messed up, and it is awesome. I think this might be, I mean, Paul Dano has always been one of my kind of favorite actors. I think, again, he's one of the most natural actors that you'll find out there, and this role as the Riddler, man, he was born to play this role. And I'll tell you something, I went into this movie blind. I'm sure, maybe a couple of you out there who did the same thing I did, was that, I saw the trailer, and that's it. I saw the trailer once, maybe twice, and I left the movie completely alone because I wanted to go in, 100% blind and not know who anyone is, aside from, like, Robert Pattinson maybe, right? I didn't know that anybody else was in this movie. And so I discovered that Paul Dano was the Riddler, and then later down the line you discover that Colin Farrell is the Penguin, and it just blows your mind. I mean, like I said, Paul Dano, born to play the Riddler. This may be one of his best performances of all time, if not the best performance that he may have ever given in a film. It is that good. And Colin Farrell as the Penguin, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't work at all, right? Again, super weird casting choice you think of, right? But when you see the performance he gives, I mean, he is like, magnificently unrecognizable. Just a total chameleon role, like Gary Oldman style chameleon role here. And the voice he produces and the affect that he has and how he handles this character is so amazing. I mean, oh man, it was just brilliant. And Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman is fantastic as well. It's just that I really didn't connect with her character, She does a great job performing as Catwoman, but I guess it's just a personal thing. I'm kind of over Catwoman. I'm kind of tired of Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer did it best, and then ever since then, the role has been kind of tapering off and deteriorating. And Zoe Kravitz definitely brings it back to life for sure. But, I'm just kind of over Catwoman at this point. There are much better characters in this movie that I had a stronger connection with. But again, she definitely adds something to the cast because without her performance, without her role in this movie, we would miss some very important plot points and some very important story elements as well. So basically the entire cast was fantastic. Literally every single person was perfectly cast in this movie. So yeah, without rambling on for too long, this movie is basically perfect. I mean, the writing, the directing, the cast, the story, it's friggin' brilliant. The only minor problem that I have with the film overall is that this is long. It is a very, very long film, so sometimes it runs into some pacing issues here and there, and you do feel the length of this movie, but you know what? The film is just so good that it doesn't really matter. Even though you can recognize those pacing issues, the film is so great that you really just don't care by the end. And you see why it needed that longer runtime, so I can definitely forgive it. But yeah, that's the only minor problem I have. Other than that, friggin' brilliant. Alright, my friends. So, it's time to score this thing. So with everything said, what is going to be my final overall score for The Batman? Well, without a doubt, we're going with black belt. Yeah, guys, like I said, the film is damn near perfect. It's friggin' awesome. I highly recommend that you guys go out and see this, especially in the theaters. Go support this thing. Keep it high at the box office. And, yeah, man, I mean, it's fantastic. And guys, that right there is our very first black belt of 2022. So, yeah! Alright. Well, my friends, now comes the best part of the video where I turn it over to all of you. So, have you guys had a chance to go out and see The Batman yet? And if so, leave all your thoughts and opinions down below in the Great White Void. Did you guys love the film? Did you guys hate the film? What were your favorite parts? Who were your favorite actors and actresses? And, hello? Leave all your thoughts and opinions down below in the Great White Void, and I'll see you guys back here for the next video very soon.